All right, today we're going to dive into a real legal head scratcher coming out of the Indian state of Uttarakhand. There's a law on the books there that's leading to some, well, let's just say very unexpected results. So get this. Here's the puzzle at the heart of it all. You've got a law that's only getting tougher, which is leading to more and more arrests. But then when these cases actually get to court, they just fall apart every single time. So what in the world is going on? To really get why this is so bizarre, we have to start with one single number. Since this law came into effect back in 2018, the total number of people who have actually been convicted after a full trial is 0. Yep, not one. How is that even possible? To start unpacking this mystery, we've got to look at the law itself. It's called the Uttarakhand Freedom of Religion Act. Okay, so this law came onto the scene in 2018. On paper, its goal is pretty clear. It's meant to stop people from being converted to another religion if it's not their genuine choice. It specifically outlaws conversions that happen because of force, fraud, some kind of financial incentive, or even if it's just for the sake of getting married. And listen, this isn't some dusty old law that's just been sitting around. Oh no, it's been getting beefed up. In 2022, they cranked up the maximum prison time to 10 years. And it doesn't stop there. By 2025, the penalties are slated to get even more severe. So this law has more teeth than ever. All right. Now let's get to the numbers, because this is where the story gets really, really interesting, and you can see that gap between being accused of a crime and actually being convicted of it just blow wide open. Just look at this. It's like a massive funnel, right? Since 2018, the police have filed at least 62 cases using this act. But out of all of those, guess how many actually went through a full trial? Just 5. And out of those 5 trials, the number of convictions is, you guessed it, 0. And that's not even the whole picture. It turns out a whole bunch of these cases don't even make it that far. At least 7 others were completely thrown out by the court before a trial could even start. That tells you that the legal system is spotting problems with these cases pretty early on. So this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? What is actually going on inside the courtroom that's causing judge after judge to acquit these defendants? Let's dig into a couple of real cases to see this in action. In one, a man was accused because of some Facebook videos where he allegedly promoted Christianity and knocked Hinduism. The court's ruling? The accusation just wasn't backed up by any real evidence. In another case, a pastor and his wife were accused of running a mass conversion operation. But again, the court looked at it and said, nope, there's a lack of credible proof here. Case dismissed. And what you see in those examples isn't a fluke, it's a pattern. The reasons these cases fall apart are pretty consistent. Time and again, judges point to a simple lack of proof, or you have witnesses who contradict each other, or even take back what they originally said. And crucially, the prosecution consistently fails to prove that any force or financial bait was actually used, which is the entire point of the law. And get this, here's another really interesting little detail that pops up in the court records. In a number of these cases, the person who filed the complaint wasn't even the person who was supposedly being forced to convert. Instead, the complaints were brought by outside third-party groups. Okay, so let's pull the camera back for a second, because while we've been focused on this one state, Uttarakhand, this is actually part of a much, much bigger story playing out across India. 12. Just let that number sink in. 12 other states in India have passed laws that are very, very similar to this one. So what's happening in Uttarakhand isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of this huge national trend. Now, as you can imagine, this trend hasn't gone unnoticed. It's raising some serious concerns among various Christian leaders and human rights organizations. Their argument is that whatever the law says its purpose is, in practice, it's being used as a tool to harass religious minorities. So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway here? You're left with this incredible paradox. A law that's supposedly there to stop forced conversions is really good at one thing, getting people arrested, but it's completely failing in the courtroom because the evidence just isn't there. And that leaves us with one final and I think pretty powerful question to chew on. What does it really mean for a law's impact when the process itself, the arrest, the accusation, the public shame, becomes the main consequence, instead of an actual guilty verdict?